everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Points of Articulation. My name's Dave, and if you're new to Starfighter, now the B-Wing was first seen in Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, and a couple weeks ago I reviewed the B-Wing for the Star Wars X-Wing Miniatures game. And in that video, I expressed my love of the B-Wing ever since I first saw it in the Battle of Endor and GameCube. Now, when I found out that Hot Wheels was making a B-Wing Starfighter, I got excited. Then, the cockpit right here is basically gyroscopic, so the ship itself can rotate around, keeping the pilot in one position as the ship moves. In Return of the Jedi, in this sort of position. In the film, we see them standing vertical. You know, whatever. I buy it. I think it looks cool. But then when I got this out of the box, you can turn the cockpit. And is that? So already I am a fan of this model. Is it perfect? By all means, no. For its length, it's about 3 inches tall or wide, depending on how you place it. So this is a great looking model, and we have a lot to talk about. We're going to look at the mold, the paint, put it back on a stand, compare it to some other ships, and then we'll be done. So let's get moving. Let's get this review started by looking at the mold. Like always, I'll go over the main sections of the ship, and then we'll get nice and close. And the cockpit can rotate, which is pretty awesome. And you can see right here, there's like a little lever or peg that stops it from turning all the way. We'll take a closer look at that later. Moving on down, we have our proton torpedo launchers, shield generator, engine intake, engine back. They don't fold, sadly. But on the tips, we have our laser cannons. Going on down, looking at the bottom of the vessel, we have 4 rivets holding it together. All in all, a nice looking ship. The rivets kind of take away from the overall look. Having a close look, let's begin looking at the cockpit. Very nicely done. Now the blaster here is humongously out of scale, but not too bad. You can see it's a little bubbly. I don't know. From far away, you can't even notice it. Pretty sick. Little raised section in the back. Great job. Now check this out. When you turn the cockpit, look at the peg there. It will stop at the top, and it will stop at the side. That way you won't have it spinning all the way around, which I guess some people might like. But regardless, moving on down, look at all that paneling. That is great. Section with our intake. Right here should be the shield generator, which is located right there. More engine components right here. And then in the back should be our thrusters, but it's replaced by the peg port. Not that big of a deal. For the wings, little modules, panel lines, excellent stuff. Detail, amazing stuff. They really did a good job with this in certain areas. Amazing stuff. Now on this side, 2 more rivets, stuff here. I love these little lines here. Awesome. Now, but for the most part, everything is beautiful on here. I think the detail is amazing. Now, if you put a little black wash on here, this model would pop like you wouldn't believe with all the lines here. But the paint is pretty good, so you know what? Let's take a look at that now. Alright, looking at the paint to the B-Wing Starfighter, this is the color scheme I love the most. The light gray, the dark bluish gray, and the orange circles. This screams Return of the Jedi B-Wing, and I love it so much. So the B-Wing has about 6 different colors on it, which is pretty good for a Hot Wheels ship, so let's go through them. The first color up is a nice light gray, which is covering the whole ship. Beautiful color, I like that a lot. Then we have dark blue for the weapons pod and back of the engines on the wings, and that wraps around, which is pretty good. Not too much on this side. And then we have the dark bluish gray on the back of the cockpit, which is pretty neat and clean. Like that a lot. Then we have dark gray for the shield generator and piece on the engine. And I would say it's on both sides, but it's not. Then we have light gray and black for the cockpit, and I think that looks very cool. And finally, we have the orange circles located right here on the bottom of the left-hand wing and top of the right wing. Very awesome. And that does it for the paint. I think Hot Wheels did an amazing job, even going as far as giving some detail on that paint. As you can see, it looks a little battle-worn. Nice touch. But all in all, a beautiful paint scheme. It just screams Return of the Jedi for me. So now that I'm done with the mold and the paint, let's put this baby back on a stand, compare it to some other ships, and then we'll be done. And just like most Hot Wheels ships, it comes with a cool translucent stand. Peg it into port, hear that click? And you're good to go. Or maybe not, because you could take this bad boy, turn the cockpit, and then place the stand, just like that. And now you're good to go. 2 times the way to show off your ship. Now for a cool size comparison with the B-Wing Starfighter located in the center. On the left, we have the X-Wing Starfighter, and on the right, the Hot Wheels TIE Interceptor. Some awesome looking ships here. And that does it today for my review of the Hot Wheels Star Wars B-Wing Starfighter. Again, this bad boy made its first on-screen appearance in Star Wars Episode 6, The Return of the Jedi. And for its length, depending on how you put it, it's either 3 inches tall or 3 inches wide, which is great. Now look, you know my opinion on the B-Wing. I love it. I think it is a great design. I love the history of it. It's awesome. But is the Hot Wheels model worth it? If you're a stickler for it being 100% accurate, then no, this probably isn't for you. I would recommend the Titanium Black series or the X-Wing Miniatures game ships, or make your own model. However, if you're a collector of these, this is a beautiful addition to the collection, and I'll tell you why. First of all, the mold is pretty damn good. As we saw, tons of paneling, little raised sections. On the bottom of that weapons pod, we have some hoses. It's just amazing the detail they put into this. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the rivets on the one side of the ship kind of take away from the appearance, but it's not that bad. From certain perspectives, this looks like a beautiful ship. Now, another aspect of the mold I really enjoy, and I think this is the nail in the coffin as to why it is awesome, is they gave you a model that the cockpit can rotate and the stand can actually fit in 2 different ways into the model, thus giving the fans of the vertical look their B-Wing and fans of the B-Wing that's horizontal their ship. And that was a great move. Now moving on to paint, I think they did a great job. I love the light gray and that dark bluish gray and the orange circles. It's awesome. Now, like all Hot Wheels ships, you get that cool translucent stand, which helps it blend in with the rest of the collection, which is great. Now, if you're looking to buy this, I would recommend going to Walmart, Target, and other stores. You can find them for about $3.99. This one, however, was extremely hard for me to find, and I had to grab it off eBay. So I recommend this ship for anybody who's a fan of B-Wing Starfighters or Return of the Jedi. It's a great model, and it will stand out in your collection. So that's everything I have to say about this beautiful ship today. I hope you enjoyed my review. If you did, hit that like button. And if you'd like to see new reviews every Thursday, subscribe. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody!